Hello and welcome to What's on the Shelf. I'm your host Jen, and today it's Manga Monday on a Tuesday, episode 4. And I'm here with Melissa.
Hi, I'm
Uh,
back.
Yay! And we're currently trying some new stuff, seeing if it works. I hope you guys like the new layover. We've been working hard on stuff here. And yeah, so let's get right down to it. Whoop,
Mm-hmm. Do
something's
you want to start? Oh, you're having issues?
I had something suddenly scream at me, so it's okay.
Okay.
Something that should have been muted wasn't muted, so there might be a little glitch. Um,
Oh,
so yeah, do you want to start with what you were reading this month? Or
well, yeah, sure. I can start. Well, a couple of episodes ago, I talked about Magical Girl Special Ops Asuka, which I know is a long title, but for some reasons, mangas have often long titles. So yeah, this one I have already mentioned. I described it as Magical Girls with Guns the first time, which is still basically what it is.
okay.
I realized though that one of the reason why I enjoy this one so much is it's actually kind of accurate to what magical girls would be like in real life, since we don't have monsters to fight in the real world. So they would be part of military forces. It would make sense. So a lot of things that happen in the mangas you can't imagine happening in real life, which is part of why it's working so well with being weird. So that's why I like it. I think it's really nice.
Awesome. So I continued Signs of Affection number 2.
Yeah.
Still super adorable. Still can't wait to see more of it. I've already pre-ordered the third book. It's still a cute little romance. There's not much going on other than that. Girl, guy falling in love. Still not sure what's going on. They're kind of back and forth.
Mm.
But definitely, if you like wholesome romance, this is definitely one of those books.
Yeah. So you said the third one is coming out,
The
right?
third one's coming out, I think, this month or next.
All right. I remember when I walked by it at work, I was like, I've seen this one. I should text Jen.
Yep, yep. And then I grabbed it.
Yeah. Do you know when the third one is coming out?
I don't know officially when it's coming out.
Mm.
I know
All
it's
right.
sometime soon.
All right. Well, at least it's soon. It's funny because the other one that I was going to talk about, I'm also waiting for a third one, which should come out soon. So maybe we will get them at the same time. It's called the Apothecaries Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
So this one has honestly been of my favorites this month. I cannot wait to get the third one. I really, really love it. The art is very pretty, and it's about a girl in China who was learning to be a pharmacist, and she got kidnapped and sold at the temple
Ooh,
to help the
okay.
concubines. And she really doesn't want to keep living that life. She's trying to stay low and not get recognized and just, do her thing and get it done as over as she can, as
Mm-hmm.
quickly as she can. I'm sorry. And eventually, everyone start talking about a curse because they think all the emperor's children are dying because they're cursed because they don't live past a couple of months.
Oh,
And she
okay.
quickly realized there's a poison that all the concubines are having, like without realizing it. And she warns them, and eventually she starts going up the food chain without willing to. So they decide to make her more of a pharmacist there, and it's
Gotcha.
really interesting. It's a lot of mystery about people trying to kill the emperor and his concubines and his children's. But she's really smart, and there's also a bunch of comedy little moments to it. It's really awesome.
Awesome. So the next one on my list is I actually read book 1 and 2 because we got both. Was A Witch's Love at the End of the World.
Yeah, I wanted to read that one too.
I'm trying to find a spot where it won't glare too
I
much.
started reading the first one, but I didn't really read further than the first or two chapters.
It's really like interesting because it seems like the world is made up of like essentially witches are just like another subset of humans, but they're trying to get
Hmm.
revenge, and like it's kind of a like rebellious type thing. And then this one girl is essentially comes in seeming like they're human,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe she's not. And I grabbed the third book, so that will definitely be the next thing on my list of stuff to read as well.
Yeah, I saw the third one came out recently, but it's one that I was interested in. But when I started reading it, I had a hard time getting into it. I felt like it was a bit slow.
It's definitely a bit slow. It's a very small, like slow burning
Mm.
manga, and I find that if you give it a second volume, it would be really, really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there more details start popping up in the second one where you're like, oh, that's why.
I like this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I might give it a good read then,
Mm-hmm.
further than 2 chapters and read the whole thing.
Exactly. So what was your next one on your list?
Actually, the opposite of slow. This one went from 0 to 100 very quick. It's called Yakuza Lover. I know you bought it as
Yes,
well.
I bought it. I can't wait to read it.
I'm just gonna put it up my screen too. So this was in the ecchi section, but I would say it's a josei, which is a little bit of a lesser known area, which is more like choujos for adults. So it
Okay.
has more mature themes. And in this one, basically, the girl goes to a party. She's really outgoing. She's looking for a boyfriend. So every guy is like, "Hey, you're cute," and she's like, "Let me go. I want a boyfriend." So she's kind of weird, and she ends up in a room where they're doing with drugs, and she realizes she's in trouble. And the yakuza comes in, and he sees that she's terrified, but she's also menacing people with a chair. So he helps her out. He tells her it's okay. She's gonna be fine, and he gives her his coat, and she leaves, and he leaves, and she immediately gets interested in him. So she goes back to live to give him back his coat, and he's just like, "Hey, I love you." So it went from like, "Hey, hi, you're gonna be fine," to "I love you" very quickly.
Okay.
So it's yeah, but it's what you would expect of a yakuza story. So of course, she's worried that he's gonna die any day because a lot of people wants to get him killed.
Mm.
So it's a bit of a mystery drama story, but it goes quick. But I'm definitely looking forward to another one.
Well, I know book two should be coming out in either July or August because
Oh, all right.
it's already on the preview lists
Mm,
for Preview World. So my
but
next one is Ghostly Things. Uh,
yeah, I read the first one of those.
so I read the first one as well. Super interesting. The artwork is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's very
Yeah.
Ghibli inspired. Like
Yeah.
just the creatures that you see in the book, you're like, wow. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like the story is very interesting. Essentially, the girl goes to an abandoned house that her father essentially is renting or buying. You're not really clear, clear what happened to the dad, other than he's doing stuff elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she essentially is helping ghosts like kind of cross over into the new world, like the afterlife essentially. Um, the odd one for this one is the third one came out before the second one, and the second one is still waiting to come in, so I won't be able to continue this one until we get the second one. But
Yeah.
I highly recommend. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely something that's like my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. I got immediately attracted by the art style on the cover. I thought it was so cute and pretty,
Mm-hmm.
and it was interesting too. But I couldn't find the second one either. So.
Yeah, no. So from what I've read about the shipment of the second one, is it just got delayed. It got stuck
Mm.
somewhere. So like it's just not available anywhere right now. Like even Amazon, you can't purchase it. It's on a delayed type thing.
Well, I guess these kind of thing happens sometimes, so can't really do much about it.
Yeah, exactly. So what's next on your list?
It's called, in short, Roll Over and Die, but the full title is Roll Over and Die, I Will Fight for an Ordinary Life with My Love and Cursed Sword. And this was also one of my top 3 this month. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did, but I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed it. So it's, I don't know if you've heard of this very controversial anime called Redo of Healer,
No, I
but
have
it's
not.
well, it's a really intense thing. I haven't been able to watch it because it's just too much for me, but it's similar to that in some ways. But it's the story of a girl who ends up in a party who are supposed to fight the demon lord, the demon king. I'm not sure if they call it demon lord or demon king, but something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And one member of her party really beats her up, like literally. He's gonna kick her. He's gonna really abuse her because he thinks she's useless. So in
Okay.
this world, everyone has an ability and affinity to some things, and hers is called reverse, and no one is sure what it means, not even her. So they're really sure that it's useless. Why was she picked and everything?
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up selling her as a slave, and she ends up getting beat up there and in the dungeon. And when she's about to die, the dungeon master, he tells her, well, you can fight for your life, you can pick up this sword that is cursed, but you're gonna die. So either you die trying to fight or you die eaten by the zombie in front of you.
Oh,
And she
jeez.
decides to go and pick the sword, and immediately her wounds get healed, and she one-shots every zombies. And as later on that she realizes, she reverses the curse. So every time she's cursed or gets something that is cursed, it makes her stronger. So this is what her reverse is.
Oh, so that means like she
Yeah.
essentially has like a reflect auto on
Yeah.
her. So like all the
So
healing and stuff. Well, that's interesting because is it only magic based? Because I mean, if she was getting beat up and the other
it
guy
seems
wasn't
to
taking
be with curses specifically. Well,
Ah,
from what
okay.
we get. So the sword had a curse on it, and the curse was reversed on her, so it healed her wounds instead of giving her wounds. And instead of lowering her stats, it gave her a huge amount of stats. So
Gotcha.
she kills the zombies, and on the cover, there's another girl with gray hair.
Mhm.
She's another slave, so she picks her up and she runs away with her, and they decide to go and become adventurers and survive. And she
Mhm.
wants to get back to the group that, well, there was only one guy who kicked her out, but she's not aware. She thinks everyone hates her. So she's really looking forward to show them what she can do, actually.
Nice.
It's really good. I think the concept of reverse was really interesting.
All right. So my next one was the dark history of the reincarnated villainous.
Oh, yeah, you read it! I
Yes,
loved it!
I thought it was super interesting. I can't wait for
Yeah,
volume 2. So
same.
essentially, girl writes her own storyline of stuff. And essentially gets she has an accident, gets reincarnated in this new world.
Mm,
And the next thing she knows, she's not actually reincarnated as the girl she wrote about. She's actually the villain, and now
yeah.
has to try and outwit um, her writing, like her own story history. But in
Mm-hmm.
doing so, certain things she stops from happening, and it's a chain and reaction. Like it's a butterfly effect. So she
Yeah.
stopped one thing from happening, which means other things that were supposed to trigger and stop things from happening never happen. And it overall very interesting story, and I really can't wait to see. Like I've read a
Mm-hmm.
couple of these like reincarnated as X type things, and this one really sold it for me. The other ones were kind of like eh.
Well, lots of them are very similar, and I
Mm-hmm.
liked the twist on this one where she's not the hero, she's the villain,
Yeah.
and she doesn't want to be the villain. She just wants to be the good girl. And I really love her reactions to like her husband that she designed. I thought it was really funny and cute. She's just like, "This is not my husband; it's the good girl's husband, and I'm the villain." So yeah, I like it. It's one that I'm also looking forward to read. I'm happy you picked it up. This one was a good one for me.
So what was
And
next on your list?
actually, this month I read a couple of reincarnated ones,
Mm-hmm.
but there's one I really loved. It was Kuma 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 Bear. I know there's an anime for it. I started it yesterday, but it's just a really like fun and light read that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this girl who plays video game all the time. She dropped school and she's a master of how do you call it? Stock market.
Okay.
So she makes a lot of money through it. She doesn't need to go to school, so she's fine. And there's a patch in her game, and they ask her a bunch of questions. They're like, "Do you like your world better, or do you like the game better?" And she's like, "Of course, I like the game better." And
Mm-hmm.
it's a bunch of questions like that, and they're like, "Okay, you can pick a prize now." And she picks up a treasure, and it's a bear suit. She hates it first thing on the go, but they tell her, "Well, have fun in your new world." And then she opens the game and she's in the bear suit and quickly reading. She's not playing anymore. She's in the game.
Oh
And she
no.
gets a letter from God that says, "Well, you said money was the most important thing to you in your past life. Well, we brought you all of your money. We've given you the bear suit, which is overpowered. Have fun." So she's just dropped in the world and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna roll with it. Even if I hate the bear suit, I'm super strong and I'm having fun." So it's just a very light read and it's really cute. I like it a lot.
So I didn't get around to reading as much as you did this month.
It's okay.
So my last one, well, my last two, on the list are the Witch and the Beast. So
Oh yeah, that one looked interesting.
this is book one, and
Mm-hmm.
this is the cover for book two. Very, very interesting read. Was definitely like I thought it was gonna be some kind of romance. No, 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 no.
No.
It's action packed. It's very in the style of XX-holic, well, Triple X-aholic, and what was the other one, Nigimura or something like that. Like it's very action packed. There's a lot of lore
Mm.
behind some of it. Um, I've already gotten book 4, but again, another issue with this one was we didn't get book 3.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
waiting on book 3 again is the next thing for this one for me. So I grabbed book 4 because I didn't want it disappearing off the shelves beforehand.
Yeah.
Um, but essentially, the storyline is that there's two partners who are essentially working for this organization, essentially hunting down like paranormal and witches and stuff like that. And the girl is essentially trying to find the witch that cursed her. So every time they go on a new mission, she's like, "So is this going to be the one?" Because she can't remember
Mm.
anything about the witch that cursed her.
Nice. That
So
sounds very interesting.
it is very interesting. I would definitely lend it. I highly recommend it. Like out of the stuff that I read this month, definitely like my top 3 would be Ghostly Things, uh,
Mm-hmm.
The Witch and the Beast, and the Dark History of a Villainous.
Nice. I think my top three would be the Apothecary one, the Kuma Kuma Bear, and the Roll Over and Die. Honestly, these were my favorite recently.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
I've also read a bunch of other ones, which were shorter.
mm-hmm.
So I read Hard Boiled Stories from the Cat Bar.
I picked that one
Uh,
up because it looked
yeah,
adorable.
this one I first saw on Yen Press's Twitter page as they were announcing new cover books
Mm.
and new covers for books, and I thought the story was interesting. Just Yakuzas and Cats. I mean, what is there not to love? And when I picked it up, it's a one shot, so it's only one book, so there's not going to be any other ones later on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically a hitman who's in a bar, and it starts with him who's mourning his cats for 3 months now. And he thinks, oh, she was the best. I don't deserve to be alive. My cat is gone. And he's really sad, but he has a job to do anyway. So every other hitmans and Yakuza around him are like, just go do your job. Because the guy has been paid you already.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy actually runs into the bar at that moment because he's also a cat lover, and it's a cat bar. So there's a bunch of cats everywhere. But you learn that all the cats were left there by Yakuzas before going on missions because they never know if they would return. So a lot of these cats
Aww.
were left there by the bad guys, but they're not actually bad guys in the book, so that's fine.
That's
And they go on
sad.
then. Yeah, and you see there's one cat who's waiting for his master at the window, and they're all just very cute and sweet. And
Mm.
everyone in the building is a huge cat lover. Like it has a bunch of rules where the barman is very very strict. You don't do that because cats are around. Like you can't take out a gun, but it has to have a silencer. That's the
Okay.
rule because it's gonna scare the cats.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a bunch of twists like that, but they're trying to solve a mystery of who is the real murderer of a certain case. So that's how it turns out because they realize that maybe the guy he was supposed to kill is not a bad guy.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, so it's a mystery story, but with lots of cat twist. I really liked it. It was not my favorite, but it was definitely a unique twist. I liked it.
And so,
And well, I just didn't put the cover up on mine, so I'm just gonna put the cover real quick. You were
mm-hmm.
gonna say?
I was gonna say, so what was the next one on your list?
I started reading Drugstore in Another World because the anime for that is coming out. So I was curious. I thought the anime looked cute.
Okay.
And it's another reincarnated thing, but it was just another really light and funny one.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy gets reincarnated and he thinks he's gonna have lots of, super skills and be super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out he can be a pharmacist, so he knows how to make potions. And he quickly realizes he can become rich out of making that. So he's like, why not? I'm gonna open a pharmacy. And he ends up saving a little wolf girl who's gonna be his assistant. And it's a comedy, so there's lots of very funny twist. I don't want to say too much without spoiling it,
Mm-hmm.
but for example, at some point he meets an elf and he's expecting, the very beautiful lady elves. And he meets a guy elf who's actually kind of dumb and he's really after his butt, like very strongly. And he's like, "Can I go back, please?" So it has a weird twist, but it's entertaining. I liked it. And I
Okay.
read another reincarnated one. It's called Farming Life in Another World,
Mm-hmm.
which you will like if you liked Harvest Moon, because it really reminded me of just a Harvest Moon story.
Okay.
The guy dies of disease, and God is like, I'm gonna give you another shot of life. Pick what you want. He's letting him pick the rules, and he's like, I want to be a farmer. So it's really just a Harvest Moon kind of story. The guy builds his farm, and he meets some people to live on the farm with him. He adopts dogs and everything. It's just cute. It
Gotcha.
was a light one, very quick and easy, nothing too complicated to the story. Just a guy with a tool to make a garden. And I picked you the one you were waiting for last, From a Country Like Lion,
Yes.
because I know you like yaoi. I tried reading one this month. This one again was from a 0 to 100 very quickly, but
Mm-hmm.
I liked the thematic in the back of it. So the theme was, it's a transfer student who go lives in Japan, and well, he's not younger. They're both the same age, but one of them looks much younger. That's the Japanese boy,
Okay.
and he learns that his transfer student is from Africa. So the first thing he tries to do is try to learn how to welcome him in his language, which is
Mm-hmm.
really cute to begin with. And their relationship develops very quickly. But the Japanese one, is very interested in going to become a vet, and he has a very big interest for his culture. So it's very culture. How would you say it? Targeted at the culture of the other character, who is in
Okay.
Africa, and he's explaining to him that relationships between two men are not allowed there. So that's something that is one of his worries. So it's just a really cool little story. It wasn't like I thought it was a one shot, because at the end of the first book it seemed to end, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently there's more. So I'm not sure where it's going. But it was a little romance story about two guys from different countries, and the one is very interested about the culture, the other one wants to learn to make sushis. So it was just light and easy.
That's awesome. So, what do you have on your list for upcoming mangas that you're going to be reading for the month
Um,
of June?
well, I have one I picked up, but I haven't read yet. Yeah, just let me reach it. It's called Raisekamika. Sorry, Raisekamika. It seemed like a fantasy story about people being transported to another dimension where gods are being reincarnated and they're fighting together. So they choose people to fight for them. That I
Okay.
haven't read it yet, but that's what I understood from the back of it. So I was interested, and the designs were really pretty. They were kind of like gothic-like characters, like Lolita
Mm-hmm.
Gothic. So I was interested in this one. What about you?
So I have his house.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
This was a special order. So life isn't easy for an orphan. That's the starting line. It's a BL from
Mm-hmm.
what I understand because it's from uh netcomics.com.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? It looked really interesting for the read of the synopsis that I got. I haven't had a chance. Like I said, these are on my list of things to
Mm.
read. I have Yakuza Lover, which is still shrink wrapped. I have book 3 of the Witch's Love at the End of the World. It's just a really beautiful cover.
Yeah.
Um, I also have Hard Boiled Stories from a Cat Bar. And then the last one I'm going to try and read for this month is another special order. Ugh, hold on,
Mm-hmm.
so much stuff on my desk. The Greatest Villain.
All right.
Again, this is another one that isn't from like a normal publisher that we get. It's a BL from netcomics.com.
Mm.
So they're a little bit bigger from like usual mangas, so the print size is bigger. But
Yeah.
it looks really interesting. I also have. Oh, I didn't bring it with me because it's still sealed and in its box. We got collector boxes of Oren Host Club. So
Oh, really?
now I have the entire series in a collector's box because it's
That
18.
was one of my favorite in high school.
Well, I never read the manga. That was the thing.
Mm.
So when I saw it, I'm like, yes, I'm going to grab this. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely on my list. I mean, it's 18 volumes, so I should have enough to read for this
Yeah.
month. And there's a couple of other ones that are coming along too. Off the top of my head, there's the one you were telling me about, the not so cute girl. Oh, what was
The
the
not so cute girl.
I'm the name is escaping me right now. Anyways, what else was there? There's a couple, like I have the Sakura Cardcaptor hardcovers to read.
Mm.
I've got the Sailor Moon Eternal editions to read. I'm waiting on book 2 to come in to start actually,
Mm.
like, I've read Sailor Moon over and over again, but like it's always interesting to see like the latest one with the latest translations with the extra stories
Mm.
and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely something I'm looking into or looking forward to. I do have a couple of comics I'm also looking into to reading. Like I read volume 1 through 5 of Sunstone. Such a good series.
Yeah, I know you've been telling me about
Oh,
it.
it's 18 plus. I will warn you now. It
Mm-hmm.
is definitely a genre of book that is not for the faint of heart. But just the story is so well developed, and it's not cheesy at all. Like you really dive into the relationship between these two people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the spin-off series Swing. It's also really interesting. Not as in depth, I find, for the reading. I've read volume 1 and 2. I'm going on to volume 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple of other comics single issues that I'm still waiting for stuff to come in before I start
Yeah.
diving into them. But that's essentially my read list. Plus, um, I was bad. I joined.
What?
So TikTok has book talk, and I've been very badly influenced by book talk the last month as well. So there might have been some Amazon late night purchases that I shouldn't have done that will be showing up. So
Yeah. Recently, I'm trying to find some reads based on some animes that are coming up, like the
mm-hmm.
drugstore one. So I was looking for maybe Higurashi When They Cry, because I know season one is coming out, season two, sorry. And Shield Hero, I really liked. I should get back into it. The Rising of Shield Hero, you might
Mm-hmm.
have heard about it.
Yeah, I've heard about it a lot.
I also want to read Overlord. I know it's a classic, but I've never read or watched them. But
Same
I
here.
recently watched Demon Slayer, which for me, it was slow getting into it, but I
Mm-hmm.
ended up really liking it as well. And what else was there that was coming out? I have recommended, it's not out yet, but there's one called Remain that is also sports anime. I know that it seems a bit like Haikyuu, like in the
Okay.
themes of the thing. So I'm thinking that probably someone that's gonna be popular.
Awesome. Yeah, no, recently I've just really gotten into just different genres of
Yeah.
like mangas and comics. Like my taste has changed not very much since high school. It's
Mhm.
just that I have more developed taste for like the story. Like I used to
Mhm.
like the nice fluffy romance. Now I'm like, no, I want to know what caused the rift. What it don't tell me it's drama, show me the drama behind it.
Mm. Yeah, there's one that I keep seeing at work. If you haven't read it, or I think the anime is coming out, it's called Kagaki Jojo. It's about an opera girl who wants to play both the male and the female lead. Have you seen that one?
Is that it's the thicker book?
Yeah,
I think I bought it.
because this one I think you could like. I haven't read it yet, but every time I walk by, I think that this one looks like something you should read.
Well, I'll look into it because I'm pretty sure I have it. Like I
Hmm.
had to buy new bookshelves because I ran out of
Yeah,
space in my comic book boxes for mangas. So now they're all nice up on shelves, so they're more accessible.
but it's one that I've been curious about, and it seems like your style of book as well.
Well, I know that there was 3 that Emily made me purchase. Um, Emily,
Yeah.
what were the 3 mangas you made me grab for you?
Um. So there was Honey Kitty. Kitten.
There was the Honey Cutie collection.
Yes. Um. I married my best friend to shut up my parents.
I married my best friends to shut up my parents.
My lesbian experience with loneliness.
My lesbian my lesbian experience with loneliness.
Yeah.
So those were the 3 I picked up for her, and they
Mm.
looked really good too. So I'll definitely be